call me Crystal Meth.
Crystal Meth?
Or just meth.
Just
Meth.
meth.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So mad, really.
Hey, Randy.
Hi, Crystal. How are you?
I'm good. Busy. How are you?
Good. Have a seat. Doing great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I've asked you here so we can kind of do a review of the last call that you were on. I wanted to basically have us talk about what went well and maybe some areas that we could try to improve upon.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'd like to get from you is what do you think went well with that last call?
Oh, I think he was just really rambling, and I got him to finally walk through the screens and show me what he was concerned about, what his question was. So I figured out what he was talking about.
Okay. So you felt like you were able to kind of, I guess, corral the issue and bring it into some area that you could focus on and try to resolve.
Yeah.
Okay. Were there any other areas that you thought went pretty well?
Oh, I hit the important parts of the Voice of Sage. I used his name, standard greeting, all that kind of stuff that's about the branding. I think that's important to do that, and yeah, it was a pretty good call.
Okay. So basically, just in general, you just covered all the basics. Basically, is what you're saying. You did very well. Okay. I'd like to add a few of my points that I noticed that went very well. What I noticed first and foremost was I noticed that you were very positive on the phone and you conveyed a lot of confidence in your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you spoke very positively and you expressed your knowledge very well to the customer. And you also showed that you were very willing to help in whatever issue that came up. So that's what I saw that came out of that. And all that basically helps us to reemphasize the Sage brand. So you're that voice to our customers. You're representing what Sage is to the customers. That's very important for us, and that's going to help us down the line.
Yeah.
So Sage as a company will continue to have that appearance and that outside appearance to the rest of the market. So that was a very good job there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you notice or did you see any areas that you think you could improve upon?
I really hadn't had time to think about it. I've been so busy since I got off that call.
Okay. Well, now we got a little time here. If you were to take a little time here and think back, and how do you think it went, and what do you think you could have done better?
No, I'd probably have to re-listen to the whole thing to come up with anything.
Okay. So basically, you don't remember the call? Is that?
Well, I remember it was Jerry from, the high school, and, I remember what his issue was.
Okay. All right.
But I don't know that there's specifically anything I might do differently. Maybe I'd use his name more often, or I don't know. I think sometimes that stuff just takes up a lot more time.
Takes up more time? Like how much more time are you thinking that would take?
Well, average handle time is such an important metric for us.
Right.
If I want to, everything that I ask or say adds time, and we're always decrease your average handle time.
Right.
So-
Certainly, we do want to decrease the time if it's excessive.
Yeah.
Now,
And
looking,
in this one, he wasted so much time because he couldn't articulate what his problem was.
right, but
So-
you were also able to help him kind of define what he was asking for.
Yeah, I just had to let him go through the screens one by one and say, and then this, and then this, and then this.
Okay.
Yeah, because he couldn't articulate what his question was.
Okay. But going back to the time issue that you mentioned about using his name more often, trying to personalize the call a little bit more, taking a little bit too much time. If we look at that a little bit further, the point of doing that is to bring that connection with the customer to Sage. So there is value in using that extra time. Yes, there is a longer call that might take place because of it, but that is a valuable use of our time. So that is important to the way that customer views that experience with Sage,
Yeah.
and that will also go further with other customers as well. So we do need to use that extra time. That is important for us at Sage to do that and keep it personal with our customers.
Okay, so like if my average handle time goes up, you're cool with that?
I think we need to look at that as an overall issue if it does increase. I think we'll need to look at the call time and try to analyze the calls a little further to see if there
Okay.
might be other areas for
Okay.
improvement. But by all means, let's keep it personal. Let's keep it with the customers, and let's
Okay.
try to address each of our points on the Voice of Sage list.
Okay,
And if there's areas we need to improve, we'll talk about it.
okay.
Okay. Some areas that I'd like to talk about that I saw that we might be able to improve a little bit upon is once the customer started to define their issue, and I noticed that you did try to, I guess, get the focus on what you perceive the problem to be. I did not hear that the overall problem was restated back to the customer.
Okay.
So that might help to at least have that initial connection with the customer, that they have an agreement that yes, we understand what their issue is, they understand what we're trying to resolve, and that might actually save some time right there. So
Okay.
so that might help in the future.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
And at the end, also summarizing what the resolution was to his issue. So that should also save some time for future calls, potential future calls that they might need, walk away not having everything answered. If we at least restate what we perceive the resolution to be, if they're in agreement, then we know we've completely satisfied the customer.
Yeah,
Okay?
that makes sense.
Okay, great. Walking away from what we've just learned, from what we've done well, and some areas that we think we can probably improve upon, what kind of things are you going to do differently for the future? What kind of action plan are you going to come up with for your future calls?
Well, I definitely want to make sure that I personalize phone calls a little bit more. I mean, one way to do that is to use the name. And I think based on what you've suggested, I'm going to keep, sticking with, everything that helps identify the Sage brand, using the greeting. I do that already. I'll keep doing that. And then I want to make sure that I restate the problem and summarize the problem at the end of the conversation to make sure that the customer and I are both on the same page. I think that's a really good idea. I don't know quite how I'm going to remember to do that, but I'm going to remember to do that.
Okay. Maybe a good idea might be to create a checklist for yourself and just make
Okay.
sure that you kind of keep those points in mind until it becomes second nature for you, and it might help you out in the meantime.
Okay, great.
So I guess what I heard your action plan to be is that we're going to make it more personal, or keep that personal touch throughout the call.
Mhm.
We're going to reiterate the customer's issue as we understand it,
Mhm.
and also summarize the resolution at the end.
Mhm.
So going forward from the next call forward, we're going to do that with each call.
Okay.
Is that what we understand?
That makes sense to me.
Sounds perfect.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.